So good evening. My name is Craig Blanchett, and we are starting our health coach training. And for the next 24 weeks, from 6:30 to 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights Pacific, we're going to be going through Dr. A's Habits of Health book. And we've decided as a health coaching team to go from the back of the book to the front of the book, because it seems like about 20 weeks into this, we tend to lose a little bit of our mojo. And so some of these chapters we've never read. And so we decided to start at the end and work our way to the beginning. And it's kind of exciting reading about some of these things. I thought this chapter was absolutely amazing. And so tonight, what I'd like to do is have some great participation. And we can all just listen to what I think about this, but that's, I don't need to hear myself talk any more than I do already. So I'd love to, I have like two things that really stood out to me that I want to share, but I want to toss this around to you guys. And I also want to welcome any guests that are on the huddle for the first time. If you're here, I'd love to have you unmute yourself and just say how you got here and where you're from. And, at least that. How's that sound? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So this is actually my first health coach training session.
Oh, good.
Really super excited. I have a lady that's just wanting to get started. So I'm only 9 weeks into the program, and I'm really nervous about being her health coach because I feel like I am still basically learning the basics. And because of the problem I've been having with my eyes, I just had cornea replacement. I haven't been able to read much of the book. So when I do read, I have to use a magnifying glass, and then I get a headache. And so anyway, I'm having my last surgery this coming Monday on my cataract on the other eye. So now my eyes should start improving, and I should be able to read more.
Got it.
But anyway, thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, Kathy. And so who invited you? How'd you get here?
Well, you and Craig, Martin.
Yeah.
Martin,
mm-hmm.
And it's been my health coach, doing a great job, by the way.
Yeah. And what the neat thing about that, Kathy, is that there's always going to be somebody that knows more than we do, right? And so I heard somebody say that none of us is as smart as all of us, And so think about that. If we do this together, Martin's been coaching for a while. And so Jan's or is it Kathy or Jan is your coach?
Well, actually, Jan is now.
Right, Jan, right. So Jan's going to ride the coattails of Martin, and Martin's riding my coattails, and I'm riding my coach's coattails, and eventually we're all riding Dr. A's coattails, right? And so as long as we stay connected to our mentor, we really do team coaching. And so the things that you don't know, somebody that's come before you is going to be able to help, and we're going to figure this out together, Kathy. So I love the fact that you're willing to take what you have and help somebody that needs it. And so welcome to this gang of crazy people, right?
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy.
So, and Linda's going to read the whole book to us tonight, so you won't even have to read because Linda loves
My hair is so curly, it won't let me. I really like it. Quit messing with it. It looks great. I want to introduce somebody. Can I introduce somebody when you're ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to introduce Caitlin Morrison.
Okay.
She's amazing. And she was on. Now it's just a black strip. But, there she is. She's awesome. So if she's there, Caitlin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
We know who invited you now, and it's Mary. I'm sorry about that. Just kidding. Can you hear us, Caitlin? There you are. Oop. She's working on it.
Hey, it's technology, man.
I know. She'll get there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Well, my screen is It's black for some reason, so I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, we can see you, or we can hear you as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that, how do you know Mary? We know she invited you. How do you know her?
I've gone to church with her for many years, so I know her that way. And she's always been somebody that I've looked up to, so.
Got it. Awesome. Well, Caitlin.
That's how I know her.
Yeah, we are glad you're here. Are you involved in our Healthy Games Challenge this next time?
No, Mary. Well, I want to be. I don't know much about it yet.
Okay.
Mary just mentioned it tonight, so my plan is to be.
If Mary tells you no, you can join my team. How's that sound?
No, she's on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
She's on our team. Back off.
We're not don't even think about it.
Yeah. So you got Kim. Kim's here too. So Kim is Mary's.
I heard her.
Yeah. So
I know who Kim is too.
Yeah. You got an amazing support group there, and it sounds like you're amazing as well. So you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. So who else is a first timer? I know Carol. I met you earlier, but this is the rest of the crazy people. Tell us how you got here and where you're from.
Well, I'm from St. Louis, and my cousin invited me.
Your cousin Ruth, right?
Ruth. She's up in Walla Walla, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And her sister is also going to do it. And I got a friend of mine here in St. Louis to join in this. So I'm just kind of exploring what it's all about. And I am, like Dawn said, the frumpy 50-something-year-old who doesn't like to put her clothes on, doesn't like to look in the closet, don't take my picture, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get over some of that.
Yeah. So Ruth found the health challenge through a group that Martin was in and joined the challenge last time, and now she's super excited about it. And so now Ruth is inviting people, and so now our community just grows because people invited people to join their team in the health games, and a lot of us found our way here through the health challenge, and some of us have actually even gone on to become health coaches and stuff, and it all started with the health game. So you are welcome, Carol, and we're glad you made it.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Anybody else is a first timer? There's another Carol up here, and who invited you, Carol? Kathy, nice. Great. And then where are you from?
I'm from Olympia.
Olympia. Perfect. All right, Carol. Well, you are, hope you enjoyed the meeting tonight. There was a little bit of feedback, so I muted your audio again, but we're going to go into our trainings, make sure that I've gotten everybody else. Anybody that wants to speak has spoken. If you are on the telephone and you want to talk, you hit *6, and that will unmute you if you're on the telephone, because I know we have a few phone callers. So anybody on the telephone want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah, who is that first?
Oh, go ahead.
Or who are you talking to, her or me?
You. Let's go girls first.
Okay, ladies first, always.
This is Gina.
Hi, Gina.
I met you this last weekend.
Oh, well, hello, Gina. Where did we meet at?
We met in Vancouver at the Heathman meeting.
Awesome.
And and I've been working with Murray, and he invited me to this.
I know who you are, Gina. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Awesome. And who is Murray with you, or was the other person a different person, or are they with you?
No, Murray had just invited me to do this. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm just excited too. He had shared this with me about 6 months ago and just wasn't really ready to jump on board. And now I've been really reading through it and just seeing the possibilities, and I'm just loving the program, and just and hearing the success stories last weekend was amazing. Seeing them, their before and afters, and hearing, you guys tonight, it's been great.
Yeah. Awesome, Gina. Yeah, Gina came and said, okay, I'm in. Let's do this. And I was like, all right, so we're going to meet tomorrow and talk about what it would look like for her to help some other people and continue to work on her own health. So that's great. Gina, welcome. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Yep. And then now, who was the other person? Who was a gentleman?
John, Fly.
John. What's up, John? Yeah. So John, I've been working with John for a while. He's one of those guys that, like many of us, kind of got a taste of the habits of health and then had moved away and has that taste again for let's do this. And so he moved to Colorado. So he's going to give Linda a run for her money out there in Colorado. But
you think she's in the Springs? I'm up in Loveland, so there's a lot of miles between.
There is, yeah, plenty of Colorado to go around. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, good to have you, John. Thrilled that you made it. So,
thank you, Craig.
Yep. All right, guys. So let's dive into chapter 25 with the time that we have left here, and I'd love for you guys to jump out. There's a lot of interesting things about this. And the thing that I just wanted to start off with is I've been saying this for a while, but exercise has more to do with our brains than it does with our brawn. Most of the time you think of exercise as being for our physical bodies, but it turns out that it actually fundamentally changes our brain, and specifically our ability to process and balance stress in our lives. And one of the downsides to stress is it ages us prematurely. So think about that. As we are able to balance the stress in our lives through physical exercise and mental exercises, we can actually, it's kind of like a fountain of youth. And so those were the things that I saw on page 307, that brain exercise, including physical exercise, stress reduction, and then having the proper brain food is what really helps for longevity and keeping your brain sharp. Because Dr. A says, what's the point of having a healthy body if you don't have a healthy brain? And so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk. Who else has something there in that first section that jumped out at them that wants to share?
Well, so you got to know that I'm not going to be silent, right, Craig?
Please, Barbara, jump in.
Now that I have my voice back, more or less. But actually, I just wanted to say that Tim, my husband, is going to be doing a patient education night on memory. And I said, you need to get into this because there are so many things that he can bring forward to his patients who show up. You know, last year he did, and it's really simple. The whole thing about doing crossword puzzles and keeping your mind, kind of a little elastic is really great. But this whole thing about, getting them out and getting his patients moving is just a wonderful addition to that. So I really like that. I appreciated it.
Yeah, excellent. On page 309, about the midway through, it's there was some really interesting exercises, and I want to teach this to you guys that are coaches, but also just as clients, is when I have somebody that says that they have a lot of stress in their life and they have a hard time getting to with getting their life balanced. Their work requires so much out of them that they're exhausted, and so they're always reacting to life, and usually they get emotionally hungry, and so they go to foods that make them feel good, that also taste good. And so it seems like to be this vicious cycle that they really just can't get around it. And so we talk about how to build your brain biceps, get stronger in your brain muscles. And one of these things that you can do is your brain builds builds brain synapses, like your muscles will build muscle fibers through activity and through exercise. And one of the things you can do is he says, work on changing your sensory reality while doing something as simple as daily chores. I thought this was really interesting. Eat dinner without talking, only using visual cues. I mean, that would just be sort of fun with your kids to say, okay, at dinner tonight, we're going to have to talk without our words, and just make it a fun thing. Why make health boring, right? I mean, if you make health boring, you're doing it wrong. That's all I had to say. And only use visual cues, or close your eyes while washing your hair and getting dressed. Challenge your brain to learn new and novel tasks, especially things you've never done before. Try playing chess or advanced card games, or take up Tai Chi or yoga or sculpting. Try new places and explore new environments. If you can't get away, just drive home following a different route. Try a new restaurant, shop at a grocery store you've never been to, or check out a museum. And then he talks about, before that, just some simple things. Brushing your hair or your teeth with your other hand. Like what if on the odd months you used your left hand, and on the even months you used your right hand, and you just kept switching it up? That's good, simple brain health, right? So I know that really stood out to me as something that's simple that we can do if we do it. Go ahead, Cora.
I thought that was a really good point too. And what stood out to me, some of the things, like driving home in a different route, or shopping in a grocery store that you've not been to before, those can sometimes be stressful situations, because I need to get in there and get out of there as quick as I can. But I thought, if I just change the way I look at it and think to myself that I'm actually like growing new neurons by doing things like that, then it becomes more of a challenge and more something fun to do. So
that's great. Anybody else have some ideas of things that maybe you've tried to do differently as an exercise as you're going through them?
Well, I just posted it in the chat, but I think most of us who do the shopping for our family, we kind of go through the store in the same way. I've tried going backwards, and it's not easy. We're creating your grocery list from the other end of the store to where you normally start would be another good thing.
There's this guy, his name is Mark Payan, and he came up to Portland a while back and spoke at one of our events. And he had this motto. He said, do something hard today. And it was so simple. He didn't say do a lot of things hard or overwhelm yourself or do something hard for the next month. It was just do something hard today. And so something as simple as brushing your teeth with your left hand, that's going to be a little harder than your right hand. So only do that. The rest of the stuff for the day, do normal. Just pick one thing a day that's harder. And actually harder, oddly enough, is better. It grows you. It makes you stronger. When I had my racing accident, I couldn't use my right hand for quite a while. And so I learned to type on the keyboard with one hand. And I did everything pretty much with my left hand. And brushing my teeth was one of the ones that was very frustrating at the beginning. And but I learned how to do it. And I was thinking, my brain's getting stronger. I just kept saying, my brain's getting stronger. This is okay. And it's just those funny things that I knew that was happening. Excellent. So with the time we have left here, a few minutes, I wanted to talk about an exercise. As a health coach, when I talk with people that have lots of stress in their lives, or when I'm going through a well-being assessment, Carol actually and I are going to do hers on Friday, so I'm excited to do that. But if you haven't gone through one of those, you might contact your health coach and walk through it. It's a really fun way to get to know yourself and to really have a conversation about some fun things about where you are now and what it would look like if those things would be better. And it's very personal, so it's pretty fun. But when I talk to people and find out that they have some stress in their life, what I'll do is I'll turn them over to page 314 and 315. And that's this chapter. And so actually on 313, it talks about the relaxation response, that you can actually train yourself when you get into a situation where you're stressed out, or, you know, you just have stuff that's beyond your control. And you can't control whether it happens or not, but you can control how you respond to it. And so by actually going through this relaxation, when something that's very stressful, you can stop if you've trained yourself, and you will just do this naturally, and you'll breathe. And so I take people through this exercise on 314. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes to do. And you know, might be good to do first thing in the morning or in the evening, or, you know, it depends. If you have a nice lunch break, you can stop and just do this. There's a lot of people that are supposed to take those 15-minute breaks throughout the day and then a half an hour lunch, and you don't, and you think you're getting away with something. What you're getting away with is you're actually taking those hours off of your life, because you're keeping that stress high and you're actually aging your body quicker. So take that time, take a time out, go out and do some breathing, breathe some fresh air, get separated from your environment. You'll actually end up being more productive, and you may not hate your job as much. But going through these steps here, if you do these once a day for a couple of weeks, you'll probably notice a difference. And what I find, and we'll talk about this a little bit, people do this and they expect like a big difference. I'm doing this once and nothing changed. This doesn't work. I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to get strong muscles and you went and did one workout, nothing got stronger, did it? So did you quit, or did you keep working out and eventually you started getting stronger? So any comments about if any of you that have done this or thought about this or gotten discouraged? I'd love to have a little discussion about this exercise on 314. Come on, Kim. Adrian, can't hear you. I know you have something to say, but I can't hear you for some reason. Oh, so okay. We'll look at that later. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, I just love that we have tools to help us with this. You know, it wasn't in this chapter, but I remember a Habits of Health call about stress that Lydia Wente did. This is a long time ago, so I'm not even sure where that one is, but a lot of it has to do with our perspective on how we think about stress too. So I can just, that really stuck with me when I listened to that call the first time, is kind of viewing things in a positive light. But I love that there is a tool to help us get centered and relaxed when we are experiencing stress. But it's amazing. I mean, I think it's all related with the brain. It's amazing how if we can process something as a positive thing. I mean, her example in the call, I remember very clearly, is, you know, you're standing in the middle of the road and you have you have the anxiety, the heart's racing, your heart is beating, all of these things. One of two things could be happening. You could be about to be hit by a car, which is stressful, or you could be getting ready to run a race, which is a good kind of stress, you know, and good way of using that energy. And so to use really our brain is the way we process whether stress is good or bad. And so to use our brain power to, you know, if we are feeling that stress at work or whatever, I've done this so many times as I feel my heart pounding or whatever, and thinking, I'm not going to get this done, saying, you know, okay, I'm just getting ready for the race. I'm going to do this. I'm going to knock this out of the park. As opposed to saying, oh, I'm stressed out. This is hurting me. This is making my health worse, you know, all this stuff. So that's what kind of came to my mind as we were talking about this.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, that's great. That's a great. Yeah, Lydia, for those of you, we have 3 different opportunities each week where Take Shape for Life has created content. They're 30-minute programs. They're available on demand through the podcast. If you go to Podomatic, it's a little app you can download. And right now, all of the podcasts are being transferred over to Podomatic, and they'll be available on iTunes shortly. But right now, Podomatic, and search for TSFL, and you'll be able to find the 3 different calls. But we're getting the podcast back online. And the other thing you can do is each week there, if you're a client of our program, but even you can go to your Quick Start Guide, and there's telephone numbers in the back of the Quick Start Guide. But you can also go to supportcallsonline.com, and then you can find some recordings there. But we've got a bunch of resources that are available that some people go searching and searching and searching. The information that they get oftentimes is not sound information, and they have some crazy ideas about these one-off solutions that you don't know if you're just some kind of scam that someone's trying to take advantage of you. And so the stuff that we've created is rooted in these habits of health, and they really do work. And most of the resources are absolutely free. You just got to take some time. I mean, you have to spend your time to watch them, but you don't have to spend money in addition to your time for probably 90% of what we help you with. So anyway, so that's how you can get tuned into those things. So
Craig, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah. Hi,
Yay!
Did it.
The one thing I wanted to add to, can I add
go for
2 points?
Yeah.
One thing that I have thought about so outside of Take Shape for Life, but also for those of us who have maybe a second or third job or routine that we're also in the rhythm of, is parking at a different spot and walking through your building in a different way. Because oftentimes we get in this routine of only seeing those people that are right in front of you because they're there every single day, versus really making an initiative or an intention to go park elsewhere so that you maybe cross paths with other people in your business or other people for me, it's my school. We're very spread out. So it's nice to cross paths with other people and say, hey, how are you? What's up? How are things going? But you have to be intentional about that. And then on intention, with what you were talking about, and one thing that I also think of is when I get to that stressful point and when I have those triggers, slowing down and doing different breathing exercises can really help me get through a moment of stress, and a moment where in other circumstances in my past life of food addiction, I used to turn to food right away. But instead I can now go, no, I'm going to do a 1 or 2 minute breathing exercise that I know really well, and that will slow my focus down to what's more important in front of me. So
thank you, Adrienne. It's so, one of the things you may think about here is that if you haven't tried, here's what I would say, is if you think this is hocus pocus and it doesn't work, I don't know, try it. This won't hurt you, I guarantee it. But just go through this little exercise of quieting your mind down. And one of the things that I do when I've done this is I find that our minds are either in the past or the future. I don't know if you've thought about that. I spend a lot of time just thinking about my thoughts, and I'm kind of crazy sometimes, I think. But I'm either thinking about something that's going to happen or that I want to happen, or I think about something that has happened in the past and trying to learn from it or figure it out. But I rarely spend time in the present. And that's been something that, like when I go to an event that's pretty exciting, but something else is going to be happening after that that's important that I be there on time, I'm more concerned about leaving on time. And so it sort of sucks the joy, or I can't be fully present. There's been times when my son is a musician and he'll sing or things like that, but I know we're getting ready to go somewhere. And so sometimes I don't just enjoy the music and the experience of just being there because I'm concerned about the next thing. And so I've been trying to focus on just enjoying the moment in the moment. And one of the exercises I do when I quiet my mind is I just like, actually we can do it right now. So if you think about it, just close your eyes and just focus on what's happening right now. So you hear my voice talking. You might hear some noises in the room that you're in, and you're not paying attention to the past or the future. It's just right now. And I'll stop and I'll think about how my arms feel, how the shirt is kind of, I can feel it on my shoulders and on my back. And I can feel myself sitting in my chair, and I'm just listening to the room around me and the environment and the things that are going on. And I'm just taking some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And I'm just trying to be present. And as soon as my mind goes to the future, I just stop and I pull it back to the present. And I just say, listen and be here. And you just sit here and you just kind of focus on what's happening right now. So there you go. Good job, you guys. Look at all you. That was awesome. So some of those things, you might even just try doing that a little bit throughout the week. You know, one of the things that as human beings we do every morning is we get out of bed and we go to the bathroom, right? Most of us sit down during that time, okay? And so I would say when you're sitting down there, close your eyes and just, we have a little room with a door on it. So I just close the door so it's nice and dark. And I just try to be present, not thinking about my day yet, not thinking about my day yesterday. And I just listen and I breathe and I just try to stay in the moment, you know. And when I'm done, if you know what I mean. Right? And so then you go on with your day. And if you had that as a habit of health every morning, sometimes I'll pray, sometimes I'll sing, or I'll, pray for people, different things I'll do during that time. But you might just consider testing it out and seeing if that's of value or a benefit to you, and your mind will develop a capacity to roll with the punches. And I think it's a good thing. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude our journey through chapter 25. Next week, we have chapter 24. And chapter 24 talks about ultimate energy control, extending your health through dietary optimization and movement. And so we'll talk about some wild ideas of moving into what we call ultra health and some different options there. And so make sure you spend a few minutes each day. I know for me, I haven't, I've been waiting till Tuesday morning and doing a little bit of reading. And so I'm committed to at least spend 2 days kind of reading through this pretty short chapter. Won't take a long to get through it. But Linda, I noticed you had your hand up. You have a question?
Well, it was more of, and you go ahead and end. If you want to end the recording, I can kind of ask everybody or you, whoever stays on after.
Okay.
It has to do with what you were just talking about.
Oh, let's talk about it. Perfect.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well, especially in all that I've been learning in personal growth that comes with moving forward in my own health and then helping others move forward, I have found that a lot of times the first thing I do in the morning is check my phone, which is stressful for me because I feel obligated at that moment to get it over with so that I don't have it sitting in the back of my head because I forget. And I wanted to ask if anybody
get what over with. When you say get it over with, what's that mean by that?
Respond to people, follow up with a question they had. Sorry, that was my Tuesday evening nighttime term. That's not how I feel when I get back to people. I promise. Well, it depends on who it is. Just kidding. But I find that my breath will be short and I kind of carry tension in my stomach, especially if I'm working towards a goal and I'm kind of realizing all these concepts and fears that I have. If I set a goal, one in particular that some of you coaches might know about this awesome trip that they're presenting as that you can earn, and wanting to achieve it, but not worrying about failure and then kind of carrying that around. And I think I live in the future a lot, I guess, is kind of what I'm realizing, which hasn't even happened yet. So it's very illogical and there's no blueprint for it. So it drives me nuts. So I'm kind of wondering if anybody else struggles with that, or what you guys do to keep yourself present and thankful and all of that kind of stuff. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it looks like Mary's got something.
Mary's
got something.
I'm like, I can't find my mute button. I feel you, sister, because we share the same type of brain that wakes up in the morning and goes zoom, and we're like 700 thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And I've been swimming and stuff in the morning, and it's really helpful. But I recently had this conversation with my kids because, and it kind of made me look at myself, and you're looking at it now and you don't have kids yet, so that makes you better than me. But we get up in the morning and we look at our phone, and it's even my kids do it. So bad mom. But I was like, guys, get a Bible app, get a devotion going, set it for the time you wake up so that you're already doing the behavior of looking at your phone, but look at your phone and get your head with God first. Because then you know, if that's where your day is going, and you start it that way, then you're on the right path. And so then you put that before Facebook and everything else. And you know, I'm not sure where everybody else is coming for on the line, but wherever you're coming from, that's kind of that thing, you know, center yourself, put yourself on that right course to start your day. And it really does help. And then just some exercise in the morning, sister, because you got to get that brain like leveled out right away.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
I think you had something as well, Gigi.
I was pretty much going to say the same thing, other than it's a human thing. This whole thinking, living in the future and living in the past. So that's where we're always either in the past or in the future, like Craig was saying. So I would just suggest, instead of going to your phone first thing in the morning, is put a meditation and stay in the now for as long as you can before facing that. Because you know what, you responding that early is not really changing things for the person on the other end. Mm-hmm. So you're giving up something of your own, you know, for your own health, for something that's really not adding value to someone else.
Yeah. Another thing, I am a horrible culprit at this. Scott teases me about it because it seems like the phone goes in my hand before anything else. And sometimes he's like, I can't even get a kiss first, thanks. But something I've been intentionally thinking about is, should I buy an old-fashioned alarm clock and plug my phone in somewhere else in the house?
I was just thinking of that, leaving my phone at my desk, and I have an alarm clock that's there. I just don't use it. But what if I left my phone downstairs? I'm going to try that for a week. That's my pledge. I'm going to leave my phone on the desk for a week.
Yeah, get an old-fashioned alarm clock.
And it takes it away until then. You have at 8 o'clock or at 7:30, I will then approach my phone, but not until then.
I like it.
Mine in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm going to store mine in the toilet. No.
That's awesome.
So good. I'm going to do that this week and see, because that way I'm not on there when I'm going to sleep, and I don't look at it first thing when I wake up, and it definitely won't wake me up, you know, by some, you know, Linda texts me in the middle of the night with some great idea.
See? I know. That's not a habit.
Mastermind the world. I got this idea. No, I'm just teasing. You don't do that. But
I text in the middle of the night.
Do you? I have it on Do Not Disturb, so if it's past 10 or before 7, I don't hear it.
That's such a good idea, because you want office hours. I don't want people that I'm coaching who are approaching this idea that they can help other people.
Yes, so on your iPhone, if you go into the settings, if you go into Do Not Disturb, you can have a little button that's called Scheduled. and mine's set from 10:30 at night to 7 a.m. And if somebody calls you more than once, it will ring. So if it's an emergency, it still will ring, but otherwise it silences everything. So
that's because I shouldn't even be up with my phone at my hour before.
It's not necessarily a habit of health. I mean, Dr. A says keep those screens down. You can read, just not with a backlit screen.
Yeah.
So.
Is LED okay? Because Jay got me a booklet for Christmas. So
LED, no, I don't know. LED backlight is still a light. The e-paper is good, but I mean, if you have a light on a book, I think it's probably fine. I really don't know all the science.
So LED is still a backlight. It is actually the stimuli that is one of the higher stimuli. My students are actually doing research papers on this right now, so it's great.
Nice.
So it does still stimulate. And one ironic thing that one of my students came up to me today and said is, did you know that watching 1 hour of television means that you need to have about 12 hours after that hour of television until your neurons slow down to their normal pace when it comes to the amount of stimuli you get from television?
Will you post that on Facebook, Adrian?
Yeah.
That's probably the most legit thing I've heard, besides what Mary said.
Yeah. Besides this, what?
Besides what, Craig?